So I'm using the cloth to scrape off all of the muscle. I don't want to see any muscle fibers left on each of the tendons.
Okay.
That's one.
Oh, guys, I hate to say this, but we need irrigation eventually once you're done your video off.
Number two. One is always smaller than the other. That's normal.
Which one's the small one?
The
gracilis is smaller?
than semitendinosus.
Smaller than the semitendinosus.
Yes.
All right, so all the muscles off of that. So now the next two things that I use are the hi-fi sutures, and those are really, they're grasping stitches. They're stitches that give me good hold of the tendon, so you don't need a ton of stitches into them. So usually the two tendons are attached, not always, but usually. Start on that end first, when we get two are attached. Even them up, we're trying to sew them together.
Heather, you could load that hi-fi suture maybe for her.
So you need kind of even length ends. And leave a tail like that. So again, so I'm taking a bite of one of each of the tendons. We have tendon one.
That's your first like angry bite.
That's tendon two. Again, leaving go half the length of the tendon or the suture. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 good bites. Not locked, just running. Big one.
Can you put this guy into that?
Oh,
You
yes.
can kind of see the little adapter.
This one right there?
Yeah.
Two. I think I'll do 3 on this one because it's a nice good tendon and I'm getting good bites.
I will get you irrigation, Carly.
Yeah.
No worries.
No worries. I know you will.
And
And I'll hand you this.
That's 3 bites, and then I'm just going to flip the tendon
sure.
over and then do 3 bites in the same direction, the opposite side.
The pump.
So 1. Two. 3. Yeah.
And this is
And you never did lock, you never did not that.
You don't need to look. Yeah, just loop.
It just actually goes on and you pull
Cut that
it
off.
and it latches on.
Or no, we can practice on some tubes.
If not, Mark can do it too.
So that's the easy end.
I'll just put it on loose.
The hard end is the other side. Because it's not. So the key thing is that the 2 hamstring tendons have to have the same tension on them. So if one of them's loose, it's not going to work. So I've just straightened them out and given them tension the same. And the one's almost hidden inside of there. So I'm just going to loose them again.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
And remember, one's shorter than the other, so you can't start right at the end, otherwise you don't get both of the tendons. You just start where the other one is, which is right in here. You can see right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's bite 1. Again, leaving about half of it out.
It's 3 there and 3 there.
I'm twitching, yeah, roughly, until you've got a good bite of it. Sometimes you need a 4th bite. 2. That'll happen 1,000
Yes.
times. And 2. Again, making sure you're biting all of both of the tendons, not just one.
You just gave out on me. Yeah.
You really put that new phone to work for AMR? It's been fantastic.
I'll have to tell Howie that.
Charge it as a business expense.
Yeah, it's a good investment.
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
It's gotta be a tax write-off side of it.
So again, I'm coming back down.
So as long as you have substantial bites.
Yeah, because it's going to be the thing that tensions it, right? So it's really just a matter of getting a good hold of the tendon. That's all we're trying to do here. There's nothing fancier than that. Okay,
And even suture lengths on both ends.
roughly. I'll make it easier.
And the
to
hi-fi
find.
sutures.
Hi-fi, hi-fi.
Okay. And then the colored suture will go at this end.
So we'll double it up.
Okay.
All right, so the OPDS is just a shadowing suture. So now I just cut that. You can take this right off if you want every time for the OPDS.
Sure, something.
Yeah, are you warm enough? You do have warning blankets if you like.
Well, were we supposed to have a wet one in that bowl?
Yep.
All right, so I double it over. So right in the the middle. Roughly even up the two. Here's where it's just.
So that's the PDS that's through that, through
That's
that
an OPDS,
fold.
yeah.
Okay,
And so now we're gonna try and size it. So let's see what a 7.5 feels like.
So, that's what she's working on right now, just preparing.
So that feels quite loose to me. That's very little resistance. So it's maybe feeling more like a 7.
The ACL is actually quite a thick ligament there, so.
Oops. So that feels right to me. That's sort of snug but going through.
okay,
Okay, so it's 7. So it'd be a 7 Badger and 7 by 25
Sure.
by composite likely. You get to take that back.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're gonna put it onto the EXO button.
Yes. Yeah, they do have a.
So if you do this, I can be scoping the knee at the same time. That does save you some time.
yeah, well, you know what, like, Dr., yes, yeah, I was never that fast, so like, he'd
I-
be finished, he'd be watching.
I have
me.
residents that I like that are doing the graft and I'm done my scope and I'm just like, are you done the graft yet?
Well, I mean, give us
You'll have to bear with us.
Yes, for sure.
So the EXO button end attaches in the EXO button
Slides
holder.
into the holder.
Yeah, okay. That's that blue thing.
And if we drop it on the floor, you get the one under my knee.
Correct. Despite my request for ones with grades 11. Did Carolyn even contact you about that?
About,
Like getting an
no,
allograft?
no. Well, you know what, to be honest with you, there are many emails that I usually try and keep my eye on what's going on from her because it's usually important. I didn't see anything from her.
Sorry, I'm just gonna put my foot on the. I put my foot on the wheel. Otherwise, you move the whole table instead of just. And this graft table is terrible.
It's very stiff, and I was trying to get the things on her.
Yeah, like those things don't slide on nicely. Need some lube, maybe we should put some lubricant in that channel.
Still not enough. I guess we have to take that. Fine. Whew. Shouldn't be that
Okay, so
hard.
now it's under tension and now you're gonna do that whip stitch.
So now what the goal is, so I try to get it like roughly middle, but it's just not happening on this table. Good enough.
What do you mean roughly in the middle? Where?
So see, this gauges how much pressure
Oh,
is
I
on it.
see.
You can't read them anymore, but it's like
Okay.
15, I think. Yeah, 15
Okay.
is right in the middle. So 15 pounds of tension would be right here. We're at 10 right now. It's not a huge crisis. So the goal of this is to make four strands into one. So see, I'm going across the 4. So I
Yeah,
tie.
the other thing that happens is when.
I leave this long so I can tie to it again.
When you come back down.
Yeah, so roughly 1 centimeter bites, which just means you won't be here before. Up one side, down the other.
So don't let your mind mess up too much there. So yeah, it's a little different from the girls that you have for childhood.
So you're basically doing the middle third.
So the end is never in the tunnel. This from here to 40 is in the femur, and then from 40 to about 70 is what's in the joint.
And then that end got cut off, Heather, that end got cut off when she put the interference screw in.
Yeah, right after.
So how do you determine your starting point? Yeah, like how did you know to start right there?
Oh, roughly where the stitches start. See where the white stitches are?
Okay, and then you go up to 4.
To 40. So 40, at the 40 mark is the sort of important point, because it needs to be a really clear mark at 40, because it's the
So you do a couple throws over that
So I
area.
want, so see how these ones are all like diagonal? I want a couple very straight horizontal ones, and I want it to be able to see on all sides of the graft, right? So if oftentimes one side of the graft doesn't really have much stitches in it, and I don't want that, because then it'll always happen that if there is a side where you can't see the purple, it'll be the side that you're staring at.
For sure.
I feel like such a badass with my phone
Yeah,
over
you
this
are
field.
like making me
You're
nervous.
sketching me out a little bit.
Stay
away
You
from
wanna
my
see,
beacon,
I am, you wanna see
So
what
now I'm
she's
going down
doing.
the other side.
And I very much so
In
appreciate
between.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
So all the way through
Just
one,
crisscrossing.
couple straights, all the way through that the other way
Okay.
on the other side.
and then you just tie it at the end.
We even had.
Again, this isn't magic. What you're trying to do is just make 4 strands into one, so it sort of passes as a unit.
Okay.
Right? And then at the end, you just tie it to itself and trim them. And leave it under tension, and I'm going to finesse this tension because I feel like I'm losing it. Which is not usually as hard as this one.
Okay, and then we just have to cover it.
Yes, for sure. Okay, that one's back to you. So it's covered, yeah.
That's okay.
Okay, and just cover it. I'm gonna go get Harley some irrigation. Yeah.